I won't say I resist the homoerotic thing.
Yeah, he wants to penetrate him with something while looking him in the eye. Like, do you know what I mean? Come on now.
He wants to kill Matrix so much, it's sexually exciting to him.
Welcome back to the Cinema Sessions. My name is Keith, and as always, I'm joined by
Seamus. Hello, guys.
This week, we're diving into pure 80s chaos with Commando. Arnold Schwarzenegger at his peak, one-liners flying, explosions everywhere, and a dad on a mission to save his daughter. Buckle up, because this is over-the-top action at its finest. Now, I think that might be a bit kind, but we'll get into it.
It's a very pure film, I think, is one way to put it. Yeah, well, there's so much to say about this very deep film, but I think I'll just go into my spiel quickly, just as I always say for the uninitiated. Commando is an action film from 1985, directed by Mark L. Lester and written by Jeff Loeb, Matthew Wiseman and Stephen E. D'Souza, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ray Don Chong, Dan Hedaya, Vernon Wells and Alyssa Milano. The film follows retired elite soldier John Matrix, whose daughter is kidnapped by mercenaries, seeking to force him into an assassination. Instead, Matrix launches a one-man war to rescue her, cutting a path of destruction through the villains with his trademark mix of firepower, muscles, and one-liners. The film has a 6.7 rating on IMDb, with a Metacritic critic score of 51% and a user score of 7.1. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a critic score and audience score of 68%. Commando was a commercial hit, grossing about $57.5 million worldwide against a budget of $9 million. And on a personal note, folks, remember when they told you life begins again at 40? They lied. Now,
I have to say, there's a couple of things in that are after surprises me. Mm-hmm. One, the fact that it took 3 writers to write Commando.
Actually, technically 4, but I'll go into kind of what I'm talking about there. Yeah.
And then also the fact that they made it for $9 million, because that seems awfully cheap. Considering, like, I mean, we're always harking on about practical effects and everything. Like, there's real explosions and shit going on. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very interesting, actually. There's a very good podcast that I'm a fan of called The Projection Booth. And they interviewed that guy, Stephen E. D'Souza. Now, he kind of makes it seem like he was completely the primary guy behind a lot of the creative decisions on it. But there is also, when I said there's 4, there's also a guy called Richard Tuggle, who was like a screenwriter working in Hollywood at the time. You're very John Waxman, or and on the same podcast I heard about Commando, he was interviewed and he made it sound like he was the one who told Schwarzenegger, well, actually, if you're going to play this kind of character, you have to play it kind of cool and straightforward. Who knows what's going on? And he seemed to have done some writing, and there's a little bit of crossover where it
just goes to prove that Arnold Schwarzenegger's a crap actor, because he does not play it cool or...
Well, according to that guy, he heard him like practicing and he was like shouting and screaming, and then he came along and said, Arnold, you're playing this guy and it should be... So Arnold would be like, oh, you're a funny guy, Sully. I guess that's kind of what he seemed to be implying, but instead he plays it like, you're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Your man Stephen E. D'Souza, he's really entertaining, so I tend to kind of believe him.
Yeah. So it's amazing what charisma can do when you're speaking about facts. Like,
it's great, it's chilling at the same time. So basically what happened was, the reason it took 3 or 4 writers was the first 2 guys wrote the original draft, which was about a retired Israeli commando. Possibly he was in Mossad, I can't remember, but he was certainly meant to be Israeli. He'd hung up his spurs kind of thing, and then it's the same plot, but apparently that was quite real world, and like it was 45 minutes. This is again D'Souza's retelling of it. It was 45 minutes where his daughter was kidnapped. Apparently the head of 20th Century Fox met Schwarzenegger at a party and was like, this guy is really funny and charismatic. He's great. If you can make a film for about 10 million, I'll greenlight it immediately with him. They all read a bunch of scripts. Commando was the one they thought could be tailored, and then D'Souza kind of took it and ran with it and became the film that we know and love today. He's quite consistent with one of the stories, was that it was very, very quick, and he had to just, okay, go pitch it to Schwarzenegger, and he's like, oh, sure, I don't know. And he said he went into Schwarzenegger's office and there was a picture on his desk turned towards whoever was sitting in Schwarzenegger's office of Schwarzenegger's dad in like a German SS uniform or some kind of German uniform from World War II with like a schnauzer dog like snarling at the camera or something, and in the picture, and he said it was there to intimidate whoever's sitting there. And D'Souza apparently said, you know, I have the same picture of my dad, but he's wearing a different uniform, and apparently that won Schwarzenegger over. And the other thing he said made him like him was he said, oh, and then you say to the guy, you're a funny guy, Sully, I like you. And he said, oh shit, I'm doing my accent. And he said Schwarzenegger kind of looked at him cockeyed. And then he said, oh, I do all the grades, Arnold. You know, you're up there with Cary Grant. And apparently he liked that.
Yeah. And I can imagine that now, like feeding the ego.
Yeah, he... and then at the end he said, I like this movie. I am not wearing a loincloth. I'm not a robot. I'm a real human being with a daughter. I do this movie. John Wayne could play this character. And you're like, hey, compared to like... It sounds ludicrous because it's such a ludicrous character. But yeah, compared to the Terminator and Conan, this is a recognizable human being.
And obviously we'll get into some of the one-liners, but there's obviously a very... what's the word for it? A callback to his Terminator days early on in the film.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm inclined to believe what D'Souza said because he did also work on Running Man. And the two of them have a lot of crossover in that they're... we'll go into it, but I just see them tonally being of a piece. Like, isn't this kind of ridiculous? Which I really appreciate. So,
do you think that this is all that this film is self-aware and it knows how ridiculous it is?
Apparently, that's what they're... Now, I can only say I'm very curious. The first time you saw it, I first saw it when I was about 12, and it's hard to explain. But in my house at the time, whatever way my dad had it set up, by the guy who did it, if you watched a video down, like a VHS downstairs, you could also watch it on the TV upstairs. And my dad was downstairs watching this, and me and my friends from next door, who I've talked about before, the O'Garas, were watching it up in my room, and we were laughing our fuck it. I will never forget how much we laughed. The bit with the phone booth, just a bit where he's like, there's 10 guys and he's throwing them up, and the one-liners, and I lied, and we were just... And the other time I'd like to talk about when I saw it, because I love this film. Spoiler alert. I saw it quite recently in the cinema. And it can only have been like the way the audience reacted to it. It was great seeing it like that in that context. I do think they were in on the joke. Like they
like I was going to say, like they had to have been. There's no way anybody can be shooting this film and think, Jesus, we're making a real serious piece here. Like, you know what I mean? Because this is like 80s action cinema at its heightened absurdity and ridiculous. Like the defies all logic. Like they're practically, like Arnie, like God bless him, is practically winking at the camera at times. Like, do you know what I mean? And even the secondary players, like, do you know what I mean? Even the I'm gonna forget David Patrick Kelly, is that his name?
Yeah, he's fucking brilliant.
From the Warriors, fantastic. But even him, like he like just a quick point on him. I absolutely adore him in everything that he's in, and it reminded me of the discussion we had about Dennis Franz and how those type of actors don't exist anymore. Fellas that can make a living being small parts in big films, but they're fucking so memorable. Like he's even in the remake of The Longest Yard. He plays Ungar. He kills Chris Rock.
That's
like,
right, he is.
Like he's in John Wick. Like, do you know what I mean? He's the cleaner. He shows up to clean up all the mess. Like,
okay, jeez, I didn't cop that. But, I remember The Longest Yard. That was the last thing I remember.
He's unrecognisable in The Longest Yard. Yeah, and then obviously The Warriors, the famous one, he's fucking. That is a phenomenal performance.
He's in this. He's in The Warriors. Last Man Standing, which is a Bruce Willis from the 90s that I quite like. And jeez, I'm blanking on the other one now. I had it in my head.
Crooklyn, he's in.
Is he in Crooklyn?
He's in Crooklyn, yeah.
He was the kind of guy. The Crow. He's fucking brilliant in The Crow. Fire it up, fire! Fucking great. He's
great at that because he has like somebody like I know a lot of people think that his performance in The Warriors is probably way over the top, but he's fucking brilliant in it. Like he's manic. He's like even the whole thing at the end with the bottles. Like it's just brilliant. Like
lunatic, do you know what I mean? You miss guys like that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying because he reminded me of Dennis Franz and the discussion we had with Psycho 2 about these fellas don't exist anymore. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, the character. I saw a comment about it because who the fuck was it? It was someone, I think, in like this Harry Potter reboot that they're doing, and it was some guy, I think it was either a guy playing Snape or the guy they're getting now to play Hagrid. And it's like this quite handsome, thin, kind of like, cut from granite kind of a person. And I saw like a screen grab of like so and so announced, and then someone goes, they don't have character actors anymore. And I was like, yeah. Now it's not to say the person is or isn't a great actor, but I'm like, there's a difference between someone who like this modern kind of a person versus like someone like Alan Rickman. Now Alan Rickman kind of transcended character actors, but him or Robbie Coltrane or whatever, you're like, yeah, they're not. It's not there anymore. Yeah,
no, and it's crazy. Like, because you'd argue that even the star isn't there anymore. They're all kind of.
Well, someone like Arnie, yeah.
Yeah, there's nobody like that. There's no action heroes anymore. Like, if this was made, I was thinking about it, like, is this of its time or could it be made today type thing? And there's no chance.
No.
He'd be crying and everything, like, do you know what I mean?
They actually did. I was watching one recently. It's a Rami Malek one called...
The Amateur?
Yeah. And now he was like the producer on it, which is why it's all about like him, and he really mourns his wife, and he's this, a real, like Rami Malek now, it would be ludicrous for him to play like but I mean, he's not a competent guy. He's this or he's that, and John Bernthal's in it, and I'm like, I'd actually kind of rather watch the movie where he's going.
Yeah.
Which is it wasn't
him
awful
playing
now,
Frank Castle, the Punisher, just going around mowing people down. Like, do you know what I mean? Because The Amateur is Rami Malek. He's very methodical, and he's setting up all these traps and like everything. It's all ingenious rather than pure brute force. Like.
Yeah, it wasn't awful, but I was like, okay, this kind of shows that he was the producer, because they should cut a lot of these scenes out where he's like mourning his wife, like big kind of actor scenes. But we completely digress from the film at hand.
Because one thing I wanted to point out as well is this film is obviously a rescue daughter film, and we've recently done Taken.
Taken, yes,
and it is incredible. Like, because people say, there's no such thing as an original film. They all just rehashes. Like, and there could be an argument made. Like, they're extremely different tonally, and everything is different about them. But at its core, it's a rescue daughter film. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
they are very
of it,
similar,
like.
and maybe not a coincidence. I love both of them. That takes. It's hard to say like which one I would prefer, to be honest, because I love both of them. But
they're different. Because Taken definitely isn't winking at the camera. Do you know what I mean? Whereas this is, it's not a parody of itself, but it's definitely kind of subverting.
Yeah, there's something going on. Like, the film even starts off. It has the opening is the assassination of the people. Yeah,
of the fantastic Bill Duke.
Yes, Bill
Brilliant.
Duke. Yeah. There's a great behind the scenes on the DVD with Ray Dawn Chong, who I'm quite a fan of in this film, and she's a very un-PC person. Yeah. She goes, he was the blackest man I'd ever seen, but he had these red lips.
There's something so terrifying about Bill Duke.
He is. He's brilliant.
He's very intimidating. Like, do you know what I mean? Even in The Predator, like one of the most horrific scenes I've ever seen in my life is when he's dry shaven, just staring off into the distance.
He was brilliant. He's
great in this, because he's just so. Because we may as well jump in. Like, so the film opens and there's a bin lorry arriving, and kind of it looks like sweet suburban life, and the guy has to run out, and clearly, I didn't really know what was going on. Like, originally when I saw it about 10 years ago, and I remember thinking, once you find out what's going on, I was like, those people clearly aren't commandos. Like, do you know what I mean?
They're very like, really.
He looks like a pencil pusher, like. But he comes out, and then Bill Duke, and I believe it must be David Patrick Kelly.
No, I think it's just some random guy. He doesn't show up. Yeah, there seems to be a double act kind of later on.
Yeah,
but no, it's interesting. It's one of those things you can kind of tell the film was written and made in a rush, because it does not make any sense. Like, the guy had to run out with the bins for them to get him. But it just doesn't matter. It's not that kind of a film. Like.
But that's the thing. But like, that seems like a very weird plan to make if you're going to assassinate someone. Look, we'll just rock up at the his wife will know that it's the bin truck. Like, it's obvious. Like, it's not just a car. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, they set Bill Duke up actually quite well, because it's him, and he's a guy who's like, I thought you would miss me. And I love the way he says it. Don't worry. We won't. Like, he just says it he doesn't say it with like an arched eyebrow, but he says it in a way that you're also like, oh wow, that's kind of badass.
He's a fantastic actor. Like,
and again, the kind of guy you miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because he showed up in a lot in the 80s.
Yeah, that bit in Predator. Look, don't sell it. She's so sweet. He's fucking great. And then I did always like the scene again. Just a scene that I like, where he kills the guy with the car. Yeah. Even though that does look like something you'd survive, because they did it with a stuntman. They drove him out. Look, fair enough, like, but
you'd survive that. They're almost inept assassins because like there's no now I know he double taps the guy at the start with the bins, like he goes over and shoots him again.
Gone.
Like,
yeah.
But like he goes through what looks like a single pane of glass. Like there's no guarantee that man is dead. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is just, and I kind of nearly missed the fact that it's so haphazardly. It is like, all right, what's a cool way to kill a guy? Like, this makes no sense. So how are you going to make sure this guy's dead? I'm going to ask for a test drive of a car, then run him over. Like, would you maybe rethink that a bit? But it's just more interesting than like
I mean, they need like a kill. It's that type of action film. It defies logic in any sense, just for entertainment. Like, do you know what I mean?
Which is
it's okay.
That kind of movie.
Do you know what I mean?
Then we're introduced to the super straight Vernon Wells character.
This fella, we'll get into him. But
I had to do a bit of research on this, but you hear a lot that we'll get to his outfit later, which is kind of the thing that he's, quote, coded as gay. There was a different actor in that role before. And
was it a better actor?
That's up to the listener, I suppose. But it was the original guy was an actor called Wings Hauser.
Okay, yeah.
Who he was in a fairly big TV show, I want to say. Was he in Airwolf or something like that? But he's an actor who I'm kind of half familiar with, but he's a lot smaller than Vernon Wells. And so that's, it's just kind of bizarrely hard to find. But on that podcast I mentioned, the Projection Booth, which everyone should listen to, Stephen E. D'Souza, I think the guy asked him, like, who was it? And he goes, I think it was Wings Hauser. Because they filmed a Vietnam flashback in Stephen E. D'Souza's back garden. They shot it with like a stuttery kind of black and white kind of a thing. So they might, it was just kind of elliptical or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was, if anyone's curious, that's who that original actor was Wings Hauser. If he remembers correctly, which I assume he did. So they apparently blow him up, and then
we meet Arnie. And he is the ideal of a man. Chopping wood, carrying a fucking
tree on his shoulder. And the director, Mark L. Lester, openly says, I modelled that on the work of Nazi propagandist Leni Riefenstahl. She just says, and he's just like, oh, bad mentality, but like, good filmmaking in there. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, don't fucking tell me.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not as if all the Nazi propaganda films were crap.
He does look like, I would kind of equate it more with like what I assume is like Soviet propaganda, like the workers, because he has the chainsaw and the fucking and the boots and the carrying a tree. Like, but when I saw it in the cinema, the way people were reacting, like it is Stephen E. D'Souza.
Even the way it's shot though, as he walks into frame, it's like it's a big reveal. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh fuck it! And I remember watching it with my mates, the O'Garas, and like the close-ups of the muscles. And oh, and it was like he was. Funny enough, like compared to like how shredded like guys today get, he was pretty, for his whole career, like this is about, I think, as worked out as Arnie ever was in a film. He's fairly low body fat in this, but like guys today get more shredded than that. Now he was a legit
bodybuilder, so he was
bigger,
mass. Yeah, he wanted to lift heavy things.
But there is just something about him when you watch him in this, and he just genuinely looks like when it's funny when he does stuff like pick up really heavy shit, but it's also kind of legit. And I don't know that like a Chris Hemsworth or a Hugh Jackman necessarily, like they don't really go that route with them. They go with the route that they're jacked, but they don't ever make a kind of a funny thing of like how strong they are or whatever. Which is always what I thought was great about Arnie.
Now, obviously then he's chopping said log. And we're introduced to Alyssa Milano. I can't think of the child's name now, but Jenny. And it goes into one of the most ridiculous montages I've ever. Did you ever see that meme of Arnie and he's sitting in the woodland and he's surrounded by woodland creatures? That's exactly what this is. Like,
there's literally a shot of them like feeding the deer.
And the way he's looking. I mean, I get for plot mechanics, you need to make sure that this hard bastard is a soft underbelly, like, do you know what I mean? In terms of how he feels for his daughter. But some of it's just fucking ridiculous. Like
the shot with the deer is there's no real excuse. It is funny.
But even the ice cream. Like she hits him with the ice cream and then it's a pause. It's a beat. And then it's
there is just something sometimes about his face that just does. He is actually fairly handsome. He's actually very handsome. Like it's kind of hard for us, like, because at the time his body was so out of this world. But he is quite a handsome guy. But like, there's moments, especially now, where he's like, and you're like, oh geez. Although kind of that does fit because he is meant to be. I do like, and it's unquestioning later, the film plays up like, isn't it funny that this guy is a psychopath? Like, he's such a fucking lunatic. Like, they have to be kind of in on it, you know? But it does, like, there's one or two bits that aren't as bad, like where he's although you kind of say it's funny, like he's teaching her karate and all this.
You see, that's all right.
That makes sense. Yeah,
but like this, like there's just a few shots too many. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a little much.
And then the music playing, and it's all real Hallmark. Daytime TV, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird because the rest of the score I really dig. It's James fucking Horner.
It's like very. It's that 80s quintessential 80s sound, like, do you know what I mean?
No, it is. It's like, like it sounds like library music. Maybe it fucking was.
That's it. Like, it sounds like I know they probably didn't have big libraries like they do now with stock audio that you can use, but that's exactly what that sounds like.
Sounded like. So then we get. I always found it like, again, are they just writing a line here where he goes like, he's like, this is the 80s, so he's reading like Teen Beat magazine. Like Jenny has like, why don't they call him Girl George? It'd cut down on the confusion. And they do actually explain his accent in this, which they rarely do. He says, when I was a boy growing up in East Germany, they said rock and roll was subversive. Maybe they were right. All right. Then
Arnie making a point, is he?
Yeah. I was like, that was a bit. Then they show up, and again, they never miss an opportunity to show how badass Arnie is, because the general guy shows up and he sneaks up behind him and he takes his gun. And
General Kirby,
yeah.
And then obviously, like, there's that conversation between Alyssa Milano and Arnie where she goes, "Oh, you're not going anywhere, are you?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, don't worry."
I would say, yeah. Alyssa, I actually think she's quite good in this. Alyssa,
she's not bad. Like,
she's a little better than your average kind of child actor.
Yeah, she would be. Yeah,
I never found her annoying or anything.
Like, I mean, you wouldn't put her in the annals of like Jodie Foster and Taxi Driver or anything
she's not
like
asked
that.
to do that much. No,
but she's functional and she's not bad. Like,
I want to say, is she one of those actors now that in the US is super political and everyone knows her? I've seen some, because she was on that show Charmed. But I think she is.
I think that's Rose McGowan now.
Oh, well, she definitely is. Yeah. I want to say, I don't know, I saw some comments that just made me think. I just know her from this. I know she was in Charmed. I've genuinely never seen it.
I've seen a bit of it back in the day. Like, I think my sister used to watch it, so I'd have to watch it. Like.
And then she did a film in the 90s called Embrace of the Vampire, which is a ton of nudity and sex scenes in it. It's quite good. Check it out, folks. It's not actually that good. One of the Kemp brothers is in it. That means something to you. But then, so... The general guy fucks off, and somehow the bad guys have followed him there, like, immediately.
And they leave.
Very succumbed, this film, which I appreciate.
Because I mean, from now it's like non-stop.
Yeah, they do nearly follow.
They leave two army. He leaves two commandos there with him, and I do like the line where he goes, "Are they any good?"
Yeah,
and he goes, "Yes, not as good as you."
Everything is. It's nearly the Poochie kind of a rule of like, never miss a chance to say how good Schwarzenegger is. And then immediately, the film is. I really love how short-handed it is. Like, completely ludicrously, they're attacked immediately. One of the guys is killed, and then and he's like, I need to get my rifle from the shed, which sets up, I don't know if that's actually a joke, but I found it very funny, because like, he got a fucking arse in his shed. But he goes to the guy, remember, the downwind might tip them off, and he's like, you think I can smell them coming? I did.
And it's true, because they do include that where he looks before they actually pop up.
He just knows something's up. Yeah.
But like, I mean, obviously, as we've discussed already, it's like defies logic for entertainment purposes. But this is one of them things where I went, now how the fuck did they get there? Do you know what I mean?
It's impossible. It is kind of, it's not clever, but it's actually relatively
surely
clever.
The only way they can follow is because the helicopter comes in. They'd have to be in a.
They'd have to be on the helicopter
or
their own helicopter
quickly behind. Like.
Yeah. Now the idea that they kind of tricked them into reaching out to him is fine. Actually, that's relatively clever. But yeah, it's ludicrous. But I do remember the first laugh we had watching it. The first time I ever watched it was when he went into the shed, and he had said, I get my rifle from the shed. So you'd imagine like a hunting rifle, and then he's a fucking arsenal in there, and he brings out like 3 guns. But then when the film really reveals its genius is he gets back in the house, and there's a guy, and they're setting up the scene of like, it's the calm villain going to talk some sense into you. And it's like, mellow out, man. We can't have business with you waving. And you're going to cooperate, right? And the fucking laugh we have when he goes, wrong. And you just go, this guy is a fucking lunatic. He's like, I have no interest. But it's so perfect for Arnie, whereas like, I'd actually kind of enjoy that scene with another actor, you know, like, oh, we're going to talk business. It's a game, you and I. And Arnie is like, I'm not going to talk. What the fuck? You've taken my kid. fuck you. And it was like, oh, this film is genius. Like, that was the key to unlocking the film. Right? I know what film I'm watching now. The guy's going to do this cliche villain thing, and he's like, don't have time for you.
Bang.
Bang.
And then we're reintroduced to Bennett.
Yeah, you kind of hinted earlier, I actually think he's quite good in this, Vernon Wells.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what he's being asked to play. I just don't believe that Arnie would be in any way, and I suppose he isn't ultimately, but there's no way that this god of a man is...
I take your point there. Yeah, even at the time I remember...
He looks like a fucking...
He looks very schlubby, yeah. Now, he's a big guy, but again, because he was a last-minute replacement, like, he wasn't in shape or anything like that. He apparently... I heard some interviews where he said I could have gotten in shape, but it was so kind of short notice. But I do like just the way he delivers the lines, like, you know what today is, Matrix? Payday. And he's just perfect for that kind of a thing.
Yeah, so the way he delivers his line, he sounds like, I think it's Korg from the Thor films, who's played by Taika Waititi.
Oh, yeah, the big rock guy. Oh, okay, maybe Taika Waititi.
That's what I do think watching it. Like, do you know what I mean? Now, I know, I believe Taika Waititi is from the islands or something. I'm not sure he's from New Zealand or Australia, but
I think it's New Zealand, but don't hold me to that. I think so. Yeah,
but that's all. Like, that's where my brain goes watching this, and how he's delivered in lines. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do take your point. Like, he does look fairly out of shape, and then
his outfit.
Yes. Now I don't, because what I heard was, that was meant for a smaller guy, and I was like, but sure, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like a chainmail vest. Like,
it would have been oversized on the guy. Yeah.
Boycott gloves, fingerless gloves.
Yeah, it is very Freddie Mercury. Yeah. Although I do I didn't really buy into the spurned gay lover thing till I heard Ray Dawn Chong's take on it on the behind the scenes, where she said, oh yeah, it really fits in because, like, if you can't have the ideal specimen, if you can't fuck him, you want to kill him. And I was like, okay, that ties in, because I have a thing later with the big, very obvious homoerotic thing at the end fight, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But,
littered, 80s action littered with homoeroticism.
Yeah, well, it's inevitable with all these shirtless men, you know. So then we're introduced to Dan Hedaya and the fictional country of Valverde. And he goes like, it is a country that needs discipline. And it's some completely made up South American country, but it's all good, you know. But you don't want to say he wants to take over Colombia or whatever. I suppose that'd be a bit much. But he said, you're the hero. It's very tenuous, like, oh, you know, you're the hero, you can get close to the president.
Very meat and potatoes. It's very, all the dialogue is so expository, it's ridiculous. Like.
Yeah, and it is, like, what is going on? Like, because they have the army, like, off the coast of Los Angeles, and it's like, Valverde's 12 hours away. It makes no sense, but I don't even know that you process this when you're watching it for the first time. Like, it just doesn't matter.
It's just action.
It's just whatever. Like, who gives a shit? So then we get in where the film, I think, really takes off. So he's sent to the airport with these guys, and Bennett, David Patrick Kelly, and that like 7 foot tall guy with a fucking safari shirt who's gonna get on the plane with him. And we get it must have been D'Souza who said we should make that "I'll be back" a recurring line.
Yeah.
Because he goes, Bennett, I'll be back. And I was like, John, I'll be ready, John. It's like, dude, you have no fucking chance. But I did find it interesting that, and your man Vernon Wells, because they showed this clip in the behind the scenes where he says, you don't play the villain like a villain. He thinks he's right, because he says to him, when I found out I get to kill you, I told him I'd do it for free. Because from his point of view, he's like, you're such a fucking arsehole. You deserve this.
But that's the way to play it. Like, I mean, Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Basterds was famously asked, how did you find it within yourself to play someone so evil? And he just responded, he's not evil. He thinks he's right.
Yeah.
So to him, I didn't play. I can't think of the character's name in Inglourious Basterds. Hans Landa. Yeah. I didn't play him evil. I didn't play him bad. He thinks what he's doing is right, and that's the way to play a villain. Because if you're twiddling your fucking mustache and raising your eyebrow as a villain, you don't believe it.
Yeah, in theory it kind of sounds like fun, but I cannot think of a great villain performance with they're kind of winking at the camera. Or like there's a slight twinkle in the eye of this film now, but Vernon Wells is playing a fairly quote unquote straight, pun unintended. Then we get into like I think the film's most famous line where I like kind of the back and forth. Like David Patrick Kelly is just kind of he's like, well, I have to walk to the gate with this guy. I may as well make conversation with him. Kind of needle him. I think on the thing, Stephen E. D'Souza calls his character a dog villain. I think he says, meaning like he's just kind of an arsehole that might kick a dog.
Oh, yeah, he's a dickhead. Yeah.
And you're just like, he's no physical threat, obviously, which is kind of part of the thing.
But he's a dick, and there's a great, we'll get to it now in a second, but it's a great that really cements him as just being a dick.
Yeah, he's just such a fucking arsehole, but he goes like, have a beer in Valverde, give us a little more time with your daughter. The Projection Booth podcast, none of them seem to like that line. Now, I don't like it, obviously, but I am like, oh, you motherfucker. But I think, isn't this the film's most famous, like, setup and then line is like, you're a funny guy, Sully, I like you, so I'm going to kill you last. And I cannot explain, because it's not very clever, but it's so fucking perfect, that line. There's just something like so straightforward about it. Like,
it's good. Like, it's like, because obviously the line, I understand that people mightn't like it, and it can be a bit, given the film is so kind of lighthearted, really lighthearted, it's heavy action, but it's essentially laughing at itself. That's a bit of a line, like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't
feel out of step to me, though. I don't.
No, it didn't knock me out. No,
because of that character, like, because you're just like, you just want this fucking guy to be, annihilated. Then he gets on the plane. Again, I just, like, when I talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's a man who, has his ups and downs and his character flaws, the amount of enjoyment that man gave me when I was in my, like, 10 years, I think even 8 years old up to now, incalculable, because they get on the plane. He fucking breaks the guy's neck and says to the stewardess, please don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired. And it is just so fun. But it can only be comedic, like how matter of fact they're making a joke out of what a psychopath he is, like, he just casually knocks him out, breaks his neck as if it's nothing.
And it's really funny here then, because obviously the plane starts taxiing and he has to get off the plane, like, and the weakest fucking stewardess ever. If you've ever stood up on a plane when you're not supposed to, a stewardess is not going to be that nice to you, no matter what's wrong with you.
And
like,
he's so half-hearted, like, I'm airsick. Like, he's not even trying. Like,
because he pauses. See, that's one thing that I have an issue genuinely with this film is, I think there's a real issue with the editing, which I'll get into more, because there's almost a beat too much. Do you know what I mean? On a lot of it, like, do you know what I mean?
Certain bits of it are quite well edited. I think now it was, when you said the budget was low, if you look at it, like, compared to like a Rambo 2, which is a film I don't like near as much. Jeez, my dad fucking loved Rambo 2. He went mad at me once because I rented it from the video store and I didn't tell him. He went fucking ballistic at me. Anyway, but like, that is a legit, really expensive looking, like, the cinematography is really top notch. Whereas with this, like, one of the things on the stories Stephen E. D'Souza told, he was like, okay, we've this much money and we've this and we've to, like, it was, I think, started filming and it was released within 5 months. So the cinematography is quite meat and potatoes. Like, it's a lot of bright lights. A very good DP on this, actually, Matthew Leonetti, who did the Dawn of the Dead remake. So he's a legit guy, but yeah, it is kind of straightforward, but some of the action bits has kind of helped with the editing, but I'll take your point. Like, some of it is kind of, if you see it in a cinema, the way people laugh, though, it's fucking, maybe that was kind of why, like these Marvel movies where it's like, hey, here's Spider-Man, hold on him for 10 seconds while the audience claps. And then you watch it at home, you're like, what the fuck is with the 10 seconds there? That actually, the actress who plays the stewardess is an actress called Chelsea Fields, who was actually kind of known. She's Bruce Willis's wife in Last Boy Scout, which is the big touchstone for me. Jeez, I fucking love that movie. And quite ludicrously, he jumps out of the plane into a marshland and somehow makes it back to the airport.
Yeah, because think about it, again, the film defies logic, because as soon as he steps out onto that runway, there's going to be every cop in the airport is going to be on him.
Exactly,
Even in the 80s, airport safety was key. Like.
Yeah, it is relatively well done. And I always found this... Looking back on it, I think the culture has changed. But David Patrick Kelly walks to the fucking plane gate with them. That was never the case in Dublin, I remember. Could you have done that back in the 80s and 90s? I don't remember that at all. I know in the States it was a thing.
Like, I remember, like, me mother and all, like, they'd go, they wouldn't stand in arrivals. They'd go to the gate that they were landing at. Like,
really? Jesus, I don't remember that at all now. I do remember going to the airport.
Well, a lot of that only changed after 9/11.
I just wasn't recording in my brain. I do remember in Dublin Airport during the fucking troubles, you had to get every bag to be checked for bombs and stuff like that. Jesus Christ. Welcome, folks, to the historical part of the podcast. He gets back, and then this is where we're introduced to Ray Don Chong, who I think it took me 10 years of watching the film to realize is a flight attendant. I was so fucking stupid. She said my flight was cancelled, and I was like, she's there on business or whatever. Yeah. So she's calling up a very, very foolish guy on the phone who seems to be fobbing her off for a date. I'm sorry, I would have made that date, is all I can say. But David Patrick Kelly shows what a complete cunt he is going up to her, and he's so sleazy. Like, he's so horrible. It's like, he sounds like he's not interested. And you're like, oh, and it's very kind of like believable.
He's great. He's brilliant.
And then he follows her all the way to the car. And then as soon as she is just like, look, stop bugging me. And he just dead, you fucking whore. Like, Jesus Christ. But again, it seems like that's that guy. You know
blokes like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They get rejected and goes, she's a lesbian, or something like, she's a fucking slut, or something like that. Like,
there's a few people I know, and whenever they're like, your one's a bit of a wagon, I'm like, give you a knockback, did she?
Like, the gas thing is, right, you have guys that will just completely abuse a woman for saying no to them, and they'll tell you that there's no such thing as toxic masculinity in the next breath. Like, do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't know what you're talking about. Then, so he's speeding off in a yellow Porsche, and your one Cindy, it was a different economy in the 80s. She's a flight attendant, and she has a red fucking Corvette convertible or something. Yeah. Which I know. Who gives a fuck? Like,
I found this. If this film didn't have Ray Don Chong's character, I don't think I could have continued watching it, because a whole straight man to Arnie's to everything else that's ridiculous going on, because she brings levity to some of the nonsense.
I think she's great in it.
She's brilliant. Yeah, I genuinely, maybe not when I first watched it, but rewatching it, I'm telling you now, I would have switched it off if it wasn't for her.
Really?
Honest to God, yeah. Because if there was nobody there to bring levity to all the ridiculousness going on, because even as they talk, like he goes, don't move, and then it's like, but you asked me not to move, like, and it's like all those little things, like,
he's such a psycho in it, which is great. And that was very on purpose. Like they say, I think it was Stephen E. D'Souza, that you need someone there to show you, we know this is silly. We know this is,
because even in the car then, so obviously they're following Dave Patrick Kelly,
the way he rips the seat out, I remember laughing at that.
But he says, they took my daughter and now he wants to kill me or something. He goes, well, I've only known you 5 minutes and I want to kill you, so it makes sense.
Like, I don't get why people think she's annoying. I think she's great.
Like I said, I couldn't have continued this.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but she definitely she makes the film work a lot better than, because you need someone to bounce off of it.
Because I mean, it's like when we were discussing The Naked Gun a while back. It's like everybody's playing it straight. But in this film where nobody's playing it straight, you need someone to just play it straight. Do you know what I mean?
No, well, she's reacting like you would if this happened to you. You're like, what the fuck? Like, there's this fucking muscle-bound lunatic telling me this and that and complete bullshit.
And here's where I thought was real. If you didn't think Dave Patrick Kelly's character was a dickhead already, when they arrive at the mall, the way he parks over that's just a dickhead move, like in a Porsche, and he parks across the bay rather than in the bay. It's just a great little point that they really copper fast him as you dickhead. Like.
Yeah, they were like, they made it a bit of a rush, but like they just got a great cast for, like, he's a perfect guy in the history of cinema for that role. Like, So I also do kind of like how he's there doing something illegal, completely unconnected. Like, he is just a complete hired gun. Like, he does have a life outside of the film, which I found kind of interesting. Like, again, it's a small detail. But then Arnie very trustingly says, go into the bar, tell him you're crazy about him, get him over here, I will do the rest. And you're like, you're off. He is in a desperate position, to be fair.
True. Like, he goes, because what's the line he says? He goes, you're my only chance, or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, of course, she immediately, quite sensibly, turns him in, and we're treated to one of the great line readings I've ever had. The first guy's like, I don't think I can handle this guy alone, and then the other guy's on these are the security guys for anyone who for some reason can't remember the film, and he goes like, he is one gigantic motherfucker.
and I do like, I genuinely can't remember if this is on screen or it's on the walkie-talkie, but the guy, he's talking to women And he goes, do you want to go see? Do you want to see me kick some ass?
Yeah, I love that. Like, this is a little detail. I think that guy is like a stunt coordinator or something. So it might have been they said, "Oh, it's Davy's day on set. Let's give him something to do." But yeah, he's chatting up these young ones.
Yeah,
want to see me kick some ass, and of course, like he's gonna get annihilated by Schwarzenegger. So then, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so it just kicks off like at first I was. See, I don't remember thinking this when I originally saw it, but I remember thinking like, hang on, because I remember these being police officers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From when I originally, but they're security.
I think they're secure. They seem to have guns.
They seem to have guns, and then not only that, but as soon as David Patrick Kelly pulls out a gun, none of them security guards are doing that. And like, if that was real, like
I know, I just have to go back because just on the toxic masculinity thing, I don't know if you remember the line he says, because he meets up with some kind of Latin American fucking like it's a passport thing they're doing or something
like that. Yeah.
But he goes, "This used to be a great place for hunt and slash," and I was like, oh my god, like he's such a fucking little cretin. Like, and then again, as great as the film had been up to this point, he gets in a phone booth to try and call. He needs a quarter to call the guys. Arnie walks over and fucking lifts.
But it's not. But here's again where it's, because I mean, obviously they just need the shot of Arnie lifting the thing.
Yeah.
But like he shoots through the glass, and Arnie's like shaking it, and he shakes all the glass out of it. But David Patrick Kelly's like this with the gun. Just shoot him.
That is a little odd, but I just remember. I think when I saw it, I think we got we had the reaction that they wanted, which we were just laughing our asses off. Like he's just, but then when he picks the fucking thing up, and I just miss stuff like that in films. I miss stuff like in film, and you can say I don't want to sound like the fucking critical drinker, but I miss it in films when like the guy walks in and they have a shot of the women like or it's like, this guy's strong. Let's just show him being strong, and I'm like, just fucking have that stuff in movie. It's ridiculous, and it's not like showing. Isn't he the ideal? You're like, this is ludicrous.
No, but that shot just really copper-fasts everything. Because I mean, the shot previously is him literally throwing fellas up in the air and everything.
And there's like 10 guys, and he's just throwing haymakers at them. Like there's no, but that's what you want. Like, you wouldn't, like Arnie was never gonna, like one of the reasons Taken is good is because it's kind of legit. Like he looks like the train, and with Arnie, it's like, well, he's just really big and he's Arnie. Like what else do you need? And it is. I did always think. The double punch he does on the guy like this, I was like, that doesn't seem like a real move. That was apparently a real, very famous mall in LA at the time called the Galleria. I want to say it's the one in Terminator 2 as well.
Possibly,
That name sounds familiar. And then he swings from the fucking ceiling on
fantastic.
Top of the
now this is another thing, because I mean, I know like it makes sense now that you said that it was kind of a rush job of a film, but some of the blocking in the shots where there's clearly a stuntman, I have a real issue with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you do your best to make them look as close to the actor as possible. But this guy, whoever this guy is, different haircut, different everything.
Yeah,
you know
the haircut actually does kind of throw me off.
Because you just give him the fucking Arnie cut, and
I know, it's quite a distinctive haircut.
Because they hold, because obviously it's a great stunt, like it really is, like where he holds the balloon,
whatever that kind of thing is.
Yeah, and then he flies down onto the elevator. Now, if you're gonna, because it holds for the whole stunt, which obviously it's a big set piece.
I think the swing is okay, but when he lands, you can tell it's not. But then they cut away, and then when they cut back, it's the exact same angle, but it is Arnie on top of the thing. Yeah. But like, he was obviously never going to do that. It might have just been, we just that. I don't remember noticing that until like the DVD came out or something. I could be talking at me hoop now about that. I do want to say, just on the haircut, if I remember right, Arnie must have gotten married around the time he did this movie, because I think he has that haircut in his wedding last year, won the Kennedy one. But that's the cost of being an actor, I suppose.
Yeah.
We got a fairly well done car chase for like it's fine. Like it's not. I do like this is where Ray Don Chong has helped Arnie. Like she pushes over the cop. I remember reacting well to it with those two. I think it was two of the O'Gara brothers I was watching this with, where she kind of recounts what happens, and she's like, you swing for the river and then you start chasing me. And I remember we were laughing our asses off at that and thinking, this is great. I just think she's really good.
Because I mean, I did see some of the discourse online, but I think that's probably from fellas that are more aligned with David Patrick Kelly's character.
Like, why isn't it just Arnie fucking doing this and that? So it's a fairly well done car chase. I just want to mention, I always liked, I think they're driving off of like an embankment, and did you remember this? Like the car's suspension, like one tire kind of goes. I just always like that. I don't know why. I just thought I'd throw it in. But then we come to the film's one-liner, pièce de résistance, I think. And again, just so ludicrous. So he literally picks the guy up by one arm. As small as David Patrick Kelly is, maybe, and you can see the fucking wire, but who cares?
Yeah, this is like the meme,
He's holding him over the edge, and he's I remember how much we laughed. He goes, "Remember, Sully, this is my week off." What the fuck?
Like, it's just ridiculous, like.
It is, but that's what makes it so. Apparently, the director just expected Schwarzenegger to be able to do that. He just lift the guy up, and you're like, "What the fuck?" But again, how can you explain that line and why it's so great? It's like, remember I promised to kill you last. And as great as Arnie is, David Patrick Kelly is right up there with his, "That's right, Matrix, you did." He goes, "I lied."
And then drops
and then the scream he does is, it's like, fucking bad. Just
yeah, no, it's very good.
About that is
it's
great,
It's just like, I mean, it's just entertainment. Like, that's all it is.
You pay your money. And you see that, and you're all right. Yeah, this is doing it for me. Yeah. But again, like, it's not big, it's not clever. It's so, but that is the character as well. It's like, why would I think of something clever? I said this, and I'm not. What the fuck, like?
So they find Arnie finds the key for a motel or something
which is where it is a little hard to, like, you have to read. I think you nearly have to watch it with the subtitles to understand, because he's holding the guy and he's upside down. And he goes like, "I don't know where she is, but Cook knows. I'll take you where I'm supposed to meet him." And you're like, what did he say? You just have no, but you're like, look, Arnie knows where to go.
See, I knew, once he took the key, I went, oh, like, that's what he's I didn't need the dialogue. Like,
that's all you need,
And so they arrived then at the motel.
The motel, yeah.
And very quickly, Bill Duke reappears.
Yeah. Luckily for them, because he's on the clock.
Yeah. Because, James, we didn't even mention this. So the flight takes 11 hours.
Yeah, he's 11 hours.
So he has on
his digital watch, which is very peak 80s.
Yeah. And so Bill Duke arrives, and quite cleverly, he turns on the shower and gets Ray Don Chong.
The man is no fool, yeah. And she's on board now at this stage.
Yeah.
She wants to help. I think she just kind of believes, okay, this is all legit.
So where's I'm trying to think of the character's name, but where's David Patrick Kelly's character? Bill Duke says.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. Sully, isn't it? Sully, yeah. Where's Sully?
He's so great. Where's Sully? And he's just like, oh, the fuck. This guy, he's always fucking banging some random young one.
And then he bursts in, and then this is where I have major issues with the editing as well.
Okay.
So obviously, he gets into the room, and they get into a fracas, him and Arnie.
Yeah.
Now, the shots here where he shoots the gun, it cuts to Arnie. There's about 2 beats, and then he rolls. Right, because you're dead, Arnie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so some of the editing here is so clunky, because when you look, because the final frame is the shot going off, cuts the yoke, and there's 4 or 5 frames of nothing. He's just like, it's like someone behind the camera going, right, and go.
Jesus, I must just be too in love with the film. I don't even know what you're talking about. I do remember again, like, Ray Don Chong being the one who makes it really work, because like the bullet hits near and she's like, oh, and I remember us laughing at that. And where, like, her perspective is what makes it funny, where he's like, "You scared, motherfucker? You should be. This Green Beret is gonna kick your big ass." And
then this line, I'll let you do the accent, because I can't do it.
"I eat Green Berets for breakfast, and right now I'm very hungry." And your uncle says, "These guys eat too much red meat." And you're like, oh, what? If she wasn't there,
and then what's she say? Enough of this macho bullshit. Like,
this macho bullshit, yeah.
And because I thought that was a really clever line, because all these 80s action things, there's all this talking between the bad and the good, and it's like, come on, just get down to it, because this happens 2 or 3 times in the film. Like.
No, well, what's perfect about it is she's so completely correct, yet it doesn't take away any enjoyment of enjoying the macho bullshit at the same time. Like,
and then 2 of the most useless extras ever.
Well, because I don't know if you know this, right? So they do the 80s thing of
crashing through the wall.
Motel, they crash through a wall, and there's a naked woman in the room. They're making a porno tape, because did you notice
I never noticed that.
There's a fucking camcorder on a tripod in the background, but when they burst in, it's a naked man and a woman on the bed, and the woman is behind the man, and they're both on all fours. And I was like, I don't see a strap on, so I don't know if it's a pegging type situation.
Oh, I definitely have to.
I don't know how they work it, as Don Logan would say, but
I'll have to go back.
There's a camcorder in the background. Yeah, I've seen it way too many times, man. What
that's
can
mad,
I say?
like,
yeah, but that's a very
clip right there.
Yeah. From in the 70s and 80s, that was a real thing of like, it's in one of the Dirty Harry movies, like someone falls through a skylight and they're doing a porno movie in there. It's just kind of a thing that they did back then. But then, yeah, he ultimately the scene kind of comes to nothing because he just punches Bill Duke and he gets impaled on something. And I do love Ray Don-Chon's reaction when it happens because she's like, oh.
Yeah.
She's nearly fucking.
Because I mean, people, when you see people see death for the first time, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a fucking normal reaction. Whereas, like, it probably isn't. The Scream Queen thing isn't real, like, do you know what I mean?
Very good point, yes. Actually, it's quite realistic.
Yeah, I know,
so well, what I liked was the noise of the guy, like you're just like, oh, something bad happened there because like,
and I do like the camera movement here where it just kind of comes down and it shows the impaled.
They don't.
I don't even know what it is that he gets impaled.
Yeah, who the fuck is something anyway? You just kind of sure, whatever.
That makes sense, yeah.
So then, this is actually to me the weakest part of the film. It's only like 5 minutes, but they figure out okay, he's.
When they go to the.
Yeah, they go to the kind of place where they think the plane might.
Jet
be.
fuel
they find something in Bill Duke's car.
And then obviously just for plot mechanics, we need Ray Don-Chon's character to be a pilot.
Yeah. She's getting her pilot, and she's a karate. I remember they kind of tried to work it in like she's taking a karate class and she's learning how to fly. But I always, when I see things like that in movies, because I used to notice in Quantum Leap, do you remember like Dean Stockwell would be like, my fifth wife was Japanese, so I know a bit of Japanese, because I was always like, geez, my dad works in electrical stuff and I know fuck all about that. Like, am I a complete fucking idiot? Because like, if I were taking flying lessons, I'd know nothing. I'd just be like, oh, what nozzle do I fucking do or whatever. Like, sure, whatever. So they go there and it's fine, but it's very, very functional. They just show up and they figure out, okay, she's on this island.
And then they slip out.
Fine, now...
And this is...
peak America.
So once you go... did he say we have to go shopping or something?
Go shopping, yeah. They go to this army supply, and this is, again... just the brilliance of it. Like, he doesn't sneak in. He gets a fucking JCB fucking digger.
And again, our friend from the mall reappears. And this is where it pisses me off with the blocking. Right? So as the bulldozer is driving in, it hangs on like maybe 5 seconds. Or maybe 2-3 seconds maybe. And it's clearly a different bloke driving the...
yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right about that.
Because if you look at this is where obviously it was a rush job, because if you had blocked that properly and placed the camera just maybe a foot to the left, it's blocked. There's a thing on the JCB that's going to block.
It is a bit like again. I saw it in the cinema and I had a great time. It's and
your man looks like a real kind of teamster. Yeah, man,
he does a bit. Yeah. No, because I even know the guy's face. Like, and
it really pissed me off because then it keeps cutting back between Arnie actually on it and then him, and it's just really.
Yeah, that's always the worst actually. When it does that. Yeah,
just either hang on him.
That completely breaks it.
Yeah, either hang on him or just go close. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they always used the Roger Moore Bond films. I remember they just play it for ages with some guy driving the speedboat, and then they cut into him just long enough to be like, okay, yeah, and then they cut to really wide. They were always very good at that. They had ages to make those films. And I remember watching this like distinctly with 3 different people because I'd be like, oh, you got to watch this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Every single time, why isn't there an alarm going off? And I'd always just like, oh, it must be a silent alarm or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, right, yeah. But it's everyone's dream. He just goes in and he just starts taking stuff off the shelves into a fucking
shop. And he starts painting himself up and everything.
Yeah,
no, we just on the island.
Layer. So then he, of course... apparently this is somewhat unrealistic, but as someone pointed out on a recent video, we're not Americans, so we don't know. He presses a button underneath the thing, and there's a fucking arsenal back in the back of the shop. And it's great and everything, you laugh, but then it's cemented when she goes, what's that? And he goes, rocket launcher. That fucking thing, right? So that rocket launcher, the little 4-shot rocket launcher, may or may not be a real thing, I don't know. I saw that on an ad for like Sky Movies or something. Like, we're going to be showing these movies. And when I saw that fucking thing and Arnold holding it, I was, what the fuck is that movie? And I have to see it immediately. That I cannot explain it. That at that time, that's what I wanted to see in a movie, not fucking people flying through buildings and all this. I want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger holding a 4-shot rocket launcher. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I do this is sorry, just goes to show how much I watched this. So he sends her off out with a good bit of the weapons and all this. I watched this so much and it's so built the reality of in my head. he's picking up more and more guns in the thing. And I remember being like pissed off. So I was like, if only them fucking cops wouldn't have shown up, he'd have had that gun and he'd have had that gun. And that would have been great. And fucking, jeez, I remember getting real pissed off about it. But the cops do show up and quite understandably arrest him immediately. Yeah. Though luckily they don't put him in handcuffs, which is useful for later on. So he's being driven off. And again, I saw this film like 10 times before I figured out this makes no sense. But the two arsehole cops, and it's nice that they set them up as arseholes, are driving him off because he's like, call General Franklin Kirby, he'll verify what I'm saying. He's like, you're awfully optimistic there, Arnie. Ray Don Chong pulls up beside him, and the cop just turns out to be a complete fucking David Patrick Kelly kind of type where he's like, hey, not bad, hooker. And like, she's wearing a suit, driving her own car. Like, what the fuck? Why did you think that? Maybe it's a race thing. Who
Toxic
knows?
masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. And then he goes, and again, it took me like a million times because the film sets up its reality so well. She pulls out a fucking rocket launcher. And I'm like, when you think about it, it's like, what's she going to blow up the whole fucking thing? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. But in the scheme of the film, you're just like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And she fucking blows the thing up and rescues Arnie and I do love the way the cop goes.
She shoots it. She doesn't know how to shoot it.
Yeah,
she shoots it backwards. Yeah. I thought that was a nice touch. Like,
yeah, and then when she fires it, it is a good line delivery by the actor. He goes like, Jesus Christ, because the fucking thing's flying on him. And it is kind of genius. Like it blows up. It's a very good stunt actually. It blows up underneath the van and it kind of turns one way and turns the other. And Arnie's miraculously unhurt as he knew he would be. It's all good. So they head off and she gets a good line where he says, how did you know how to do that? She says, I read the instructions. And that's a funny line. That works. It works. We get down to the docks then, and the only bit really I think we're talking about is it got a laugh out of us watching it was there's like a sentry and Arnie just grabs him and like reams his head into like what looks like a really heavy plank of wood, and you're just like, oh yeah.
Ray Don Chong has a great line here as well. This isn't a plane, it's a canoe with wings or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's very good.
I do like actually...
Get in and paddle.
Yeah. I do like the line after he fucking mashes the guy's head in. She goes, did anyone ever tell you have a lot of hostility? I like that the kind of modern like 80s therapy speak with Arnie's completely psychopathic character. Now, this scene does kind of show... I do like those lines. It does kind of show the kind of rush nature of it because... Arnie, some guys on the dock who are in paramilitary gear, even though this is the USA, start driving towards them. And it is just, they shoot, Arnie shoots. They shoot, Arnie shoots. There's no squibs until like the very, very end because they take time and they cost money and they're difficult. It's a perfectly like watchable thing. It goes on. If I were being real critical, I'd be like, that could have been a bit shorter. But it's fine. They do the thing where he just punches the plane and it takes off and all this.
Works every time or something.
Works every time, yeah. Which again, at that stage of the film, you're like, that's funny, yeah. The next scene takes a bit of explaining because it takes up a fair bit of screen time. You know the bit with Bill Paxton where they're like, you get out of here, and it comes to nothing.
Yeah, we'll shoot you down.
Yeah, that was connected to the original ending. So that was a setup for the original ending where they're like, oh, this is a place where the army does testing or something. Yeah. So originally it was.
I did think that this was probably.
I remember I was thinking, why the fuck? Because Bill Paxton
is a fantastic actor.
Yeah. And you're like, what is that in there for? Because it comes to nothing. It was to set up later. Him and Bennett were going to have a fight in an abandoned island, and the army was shelling the island.
Okay.
So they're punching and kicking in the middle of like all these explosions and all this, and they just cut that. And I think for the best, I really like the end fight. So that's why that's in there. If anyone's curious, they should have just cut the whole thing out. To be honest. Might have just been way too short or something.
Yeah, because I mean, it's what, an hour and 26 minutes runtime without credits.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, you'd be looking at what, an hour and 22.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Which something to be said for that. Maybe although Bill Paxton would have getting the residuals. So that's nice,
that's true. And because it's basically, can you fly low or something like that? And
it's very simplistic. And it's just like, well, why doesn't everyone just do that? Yeah, it's a little.
But that is a thing, like, because if you ever see American Made,
that's true.
So they fly low, so the radar can't pick them up.
That's true. Yeah. So it always seemed kind of unnecessary. To me. It's not awful. It's nice to see Bill Paxton, but you're like, yeah. So then he shows up, and for some reason he's stripped down to just a pair of posing trousers.
Yeah, I thought, because when I saw this, right, and when I rewatched this, because I didn't remember it from the original watching it, but like I was like, but he's going to swim over to the island.
No,
but he gets into a boat and he strips down. Like, It's just like any excuse to get the top off. Like,
yeah,
do you know
well,
what I
I
mean?
do remember, and again, like he wasn't as shredded. When just if anyone doesn't know, when I say shredded, he wasn't as low a body fat as like your Hugh Jackman's would be now. But he was Mr. Olympia, like so he's. And I just remember they've that one shot of him like pulling the oars, and me and the old guys just going like, Jesus Christ! Like you just never seen anyone that like he was famous for being.
Yeah, the way his back, like the shot from behind, and the way his back muscles are moving and all.
He was in dynamite shape for this. Yeah, and then we get one of the best tooling up scenes in cinema history. Like he runs on, it's like fucking.
Yeah.
Fucking, and you're like, oh yeah,
it's great. And this is where he puts on his makeup,
the
and
war
stuff.
paint.
Like,
There's a good interview with him because when they made the behind the scenes, he was governor of California, so he wasn't in it. But
so I mean, obviously, this is about 10 minutes of just body count piling up.
Yeah,
it's a lot of. I do like the fact that they actually blow up the buildings, but again, issue with the editing, it holds too long on the two guys.
You can just see dummies.
Yeah, they're just dummies, and they're not moving with the explosion
and
or
you can
anything.
See like the pole.
Yeah.
When I was 12. Just the sheer fact that it was explosions and guns being fired, I was happy. When I watch it now, I don't not like it, but it is just kind of like there is no effort for him. It's just the bit at the very start where he's going around, like kind of
picking them off.
The first guy he kills, if I'm not wrong, he just grabs him and he just like absolutely rams the knife into his stomach. Like,
cut somebody's throat.
He cuts a guy's throat. He has like two knives that like he throws two knives,
and that's again that's crap editing because like the way it cuts,
two knife for the bit where he's like, "Come on, Dad," and
the two knives where he throws and then it turns around and they're already in the neck.
Yeah, and doesn't it? I think it hangs on them for ages, going like, "Oh." Yeah, it is like it's very 80s and you can kind of watch it through a bubble now, but like compared to like legitimately great action scenes, it isn't quite up there. Like I wouldn't call it terrible, but it does get a little just kind of, okay, he's just gonna, but at the time I was like, oh, now he's using an Uzi. Oh, now he's using this gun. Oh, now he's using the Bell-fed gun. But where it gets, you do notice one of the extras really looks like Charles Grodin. Did you? I don't know if you copped this guy. And they reuse him because I think he just gets shot at one point, but then the bit in the garden shed, which is actually an interesting action moment I found. Just if anyone hasn't seen it, it is just basically Arnie walking around like it's a famous kind of house in LA. It used to belong to the silent film actor Harold Lloyd or something. It was at the end of Beverly Hills Cop as well. It's just him going around there with machine guns. Yeah, apparently so. Just
I actually recognise it now that you say it. Like,
and again, like just quick, Stephen E. D'Souza said when he was pitching it, he was like, I worked in television, so I said, you can film all this in the Zone, which is the area inside Hollywood where you don't have to pay for hotels. So apparently that's why LA was chosen, because the weather's the same all the year round, and there's like a desert, there's this and there's that, all within this area. So they're out there, and it is just him walking around, not even hiding, just like with a machine gun, which is kind of nice in a fascistic kind of way.
And again, I know I'm beating this drum to death, but I don't even know if this is. Well, I mean, you could have hidden it better with editing, but the part where he has the machine gun that and takes the bullets have to be fed into it, and it doesn't move. Even though he's walking around and stays the same length for the whole time he's shooting it, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah,
it is. Well, this is when people say, oh, it's the cliche of the villains can't hit and the hero can. And I'm like, you can't really say it's anything other than that. Yeah. Apparently what happened was it was originally completely different. Like it was more straightforward or kind of subterfuge. Although I think the director, Mark L. Lester, denies this, but what a few people said was he came to the set and said, I just saw a preview of Rambo 2. We have to kill more people than he did. And it is very, like, he even has the belt-fed thing in Rambo 2 and all this. I find Rambo 2, my dad's turning in his grave, I find that a little overlong and a bit boring, actually, Rambo 2. I prefer Rambo 3. That is absolute sacrilege. Me dad fucking loved Rambo 2. Jesus. Yeah. It's not my favourite. The first one is amazing. I like the third one a lot. The second one, I'd have to rewatch it to be fair, but I do think Commando's way better. I like the bit in the garden shed where he actually is kind of clever. Like he's in trouble. Like he has to go in there and like it is just funny, like how over the top. Like he just rams the fork into the guy and he cuts the guy's arm off. He throws the guy he throws the saw blade at, and it takes off a bit of his head. That's the stuntman that I think looks like Charles Grodin, because I just remembered his face. So then we get into Jenny has escaped at this stage, which I like. They give her she would be dead actually if she hadn't escaped by herself.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think is kind of a nice touch.
Yeah.
And she's escaped into the kind of the huge furnace that's underneath the house, which I'll go into. And then he just kind of goes up to the house. He kills Dan Hedaya, the general of Valverde. I will say, we forgot to mention that the plane lands in Valverde.
Oh, yeah.
And they take the guy off and he's dead. There is a nice touch in that, and I know, kind of giving it faint praise, but they show the exterior of that airport in Valverde, the fictional country. And if you look very closely, there's pictures of Dan Hedaya with a big X through them. As in, like, he's the former dictator that was deposed. I was like, that's kind of a nice touch. He kills him, blows him out the window with the shotgun. But then they go down into the basement, and it's him, Vernon Wells, Jenny, and machismo at its absolute. So the story here is they completely run out of money, and they were like, "Fuck, actually, what do we do
just
here?"
Before you get onto that, we were speaking about how Vernon Wells delivers some of his lines. When the explosions start kicking off, and there's this low shot, and he's like, "Welcome back, John. I'm so happy you're here," or something like that. Yeah. And that's that was just a step too far for me. I couldn't wait to see him dead then.
Well, there's another bit where do you remember that he's walking through the house, and this guy who pops up in a load of films around this time, he goes like, he's trying to be tough, and he's like cutting a little girl's throat. He's like cutting warm butter, and he just says, "Oh, shut your mouth." And then he's talking to the general guy, and he's like, "I love listening to you pissant soldiers trying to talk tough. They make me laugh." And I love the way he says, "If Matrix was here, he'd laugh too." And I was like, he is kind of like, I know it's reading too much into it, but he is still like, we're the real deal. Like, he feels this kind of kindred spirit thing with Matrix.
Because you often get that in these kind of, when there's been a team, an army team, a special ops team, and they're all brothers, and it's that real. It's very fucking Reagan era American military warship. Like,
well, that's
what
I mean. Like, my thing, because we're coming to it now, but I won't say I resist the homoerotic thing, but that moment does make me go, yeah, there's a lot of love in this man's heart for Matrix as opposed to. So we get into, they'd run out of money apparently. So that whole thing in like the furnace, is just the downstairs of the 20th Century Fox building in LA apparently, because they're just like, we don't have to pay fuck all for this.
Very well.
It's actually good,
Yeah.
Stephen E. D'Souza said, I got a phone call telling me, this is what it looks like, come up with some dialogue for it or write it out.
Yeah.
But then that guy, Richard Tuggle, said he suggested it. And I'm like, well, he's a writer and he said he did some writing. Why didn't they get him to do it? I don't know. But anyway, they ended up filming there. And the reason that Arnie gets wounded at the start is because they figure Vernon Wells isn't a good enough. Yeah. Bennett. I don't know why we're avoiding saying his name. Bennett.
But even he mentions it. Like this whole thing of how he gets him away. Because he has Alyssa Milano, Jenny. And he's being taunted into having his one-on-one.
Go on. Do you like that or not? I absolutely fucking love that.
I don't know. It's just a bit. It's like, come on, and all this. Like,
I think Vernon Wells' performance sells it. This is the thing now. I like Ray Don Chong's kind of justification of it or whatever you want to call it, but I always just read it as, he wants to kill Matrix so much it's sexually exciting to him. There's no question, like when he's like, I don't need no gun, and he's, I'm gonna kill you now, and I'm like, there's something sexual going on there. Yeah. And I just took it as like, it's not necessarily a homoerotic thing, although it's two men, so I suppose it is. I was like, he is so into killing this guy that it's become a sexual fantasy for him. Like, it's like, it'd be like orgasm and like killing him. And the dialogue where he's like, come on, Bennett, you want to put the knife in me?
Yeah. That's fair.
And I remember seeing that in the cinema and just going,
like, if there was
oh my god, this is amazing.
If there was but like even
that
like,
is so homoerotic.
He wants to penetrate him with something while looking him in the eye. Do you know what I mean? Come on now.
Now, having said all that, I am a fool and I'm completely shit is so homoerotic, but it is when he goes like, come on, Bennett, let's party. What is that? And I don't even want to know. I just want to enjoy it. Like, like, this is fun. But when Bennett is like, I don't need no gun, I'm gonna kill you, and he's absolutely passed over into lunacy at that point. I'm like, oh, fucking.
And the thing that I liked about the final kind of fight is that it's not too long. They didn't.
No, the editing in that, I think,
is pretty good.
It's pretty good, and it makes no sense, like a lot of the punches, but it's the rhythm of it is really good. Yeah. And I did always, even at the time, and this is when I was a young fella, and you have no idea what old or young looks like. When Bennett was like, "You're getting old, John," I was like, dude, like
you were older, surely.
Look at the fucking guy, like Jesus, you look older, and he's in way fucking better shape. When it was the other actor would have been, I think Wings Hauser was in maybe his 30s, or he probably would have looked, but Vernon Wells looks older than John Legend. Come on, man. But I do like the editing of it.
Yeah, it's very good.
It is pure editing, like.
Yeah, because I mean, it just goes to show when they had money and the editing was shit. And then when they don't have money, you have to get creative. Like, do you know what I mean?
I figured they just filmed. So again, sorry to harp on about this. Anyone who's a regular watcher of the show, in Hong Kong, they have a way of filming where it's like, you film this shot, okay, the next part of the fight is a different shot. The next part of the fight is a different shot. So when those guys, people who like that style, go to the USA and they're like, okay, you film all the fight from here. You film all the fight from here. You film all the fight from here in coverage, as they say. And people hate that. This fight was obviously shot in coverage, but then the editing, and it is a different style, like it's not Jackie Chan or whatever. They make it work. Like, they give it a nice rhythm, I find, and like it's I just like the way they did it.
And then obviously he gets the pipe and impales.
Well, I do have to bring up the bit because I just remember in the cinema, I always liked the moment, but when I saw it in the cinema, and it took the audience like 2 minutes to react for it, so they're punching and fighting. He punches him into an electric fence. And Ben is like, ah,
oh, yeah.
And
then I thought that was it.
Yeah.
When I remember watching that and thinking, oh, that's it. He said they're getting him.
But then
I totally forgot about that.
With absolutely no pause, he just comes out and starts beating him up again. And when I tell you, it took the and this is an audience like watching it 40 years after the fact. It took the audience 2 minutes to recover from that. We were still laughing 2 minutes. Like, again, it is that fine line of ridiculousness and genius. Like, yeah. And I do just love where he has him, he's beating him down. And the editing is great, where he's like, doesn't it feel good? Just like old times. Does it feel like you're a dead man, John? And the way Arnie goes, bullshit. That's where it sits for me, because I do hate a lot of this. I hate that fucking Michael Bay thing of like the soldiers, and they're like, bring down the thunder, because that's just macho horseshit. No, this is like, isn't this kind of ridiculous? But you just love it at the same time.
It's
like, the way he goes, bullshit. Oh, fucking great. And then, so, and again, it happens so often on the podcast, I am a complete fucking idiot and a fool. What does he say, Bennett, when he picks up a gun? You know, the classic villain move. He goes, I'm not going to shoot you between the eyes. I'm going to shoot you between the balls. So homoerotic.
Again, yeah.
And then Arnie throws a fucking pipe through him. I'm so full of shit, man. Come on.
Like this, this is what, like, you film littered with one-liners and let off some steam, Bennett.
Yeah, never my favorite actually, but it's well, compared to I Lied, it's no. But on the DVD actually, they had some like other lines that he said, and that is by far the best one. I can't remember. It's like, you couldn't handle the pressure, hey Bennett, and that was kind of that was a terrible accent actually. It did make the way he delivered that line actually made me go, that guy, when he said he was delivering the lines wrong, I was like, man, that's kind of what I think he was talking about, because he was kind of trying to, because he just goes, let off some steam, Bennett. It's very kind of flat, whereas that he was like, oh yeah, that doesn't really work. There were a few of them, and you're like, oh, they went with the best one, which was never my favorite, but as I said, there's so many great ones. Actually, if anyone's interested, if you watch the trailer, they have different takes of some of the lines. Like, I think where he says, "You're a funny guy, Solly," he says it kind of differently because it's so burned in my brain, like how he actually says it. Then we're treated to, he walks out away from all the smouldering rubble with Jenny, and the general comes along and he goes, leave anything for us, just bodies.
Yeah. Now here's I mean, I suppose it's probably stupid to make this an issue, given the ridiculousness of the film. But how Jenny just accepts Ray Don Chong as like, she's never met her before, and she's embracing her and getting into the plane with her, and it's like she doesn't go, who's that, Daddy? That's all I need, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I mean, I suppose that's small potatoes when you consider just how ridiculous this film can get. Like,
true. I never thought of it. I just kind of, do you know what? I think it was because you spend more time with the Ray Don Chong character, and I just kind of looked at it from her point of view.
We knew her, and just didn't consider Jenny's never met her before.
Yeah, Christ, and after what she's just been through.
Yeah, exactly. Like, traumatizing experience.
He's very accepting. Yeah, I did like how they played. There's obviously a romance hinted at between Schwarzenegger and Ray Don Chong, but they never go into it. And anyone who's curious, watch that behind the scenes. He definitely banged Ray Don Chong at the time. You can hear she's interviewed contemporarily in 2007, and it's like, yeah, they made the beast with two backs, which I will fucking say in every podcast. So if you ever go back, because his bodybuilding days, there's a few like kind of archive interviews with Arnie on it. Yeah. And whenever there's a woman in the video, all the comments are just Arnie banged her. There's a great one where he's being interviewed by, very straight-laced kind of newswoman, and she goes, oh, like, you're obviously the peak of the male body, but if I wanted to be your Playboy model, what would I have to do? And he goes, well, of course, for me, you are there already. Like, oh, Arnie. And he'd learned English like 5 years before. That man, fucking smooth, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah. He's an inspiration to us all. To put him on. And I do like again, they hinted a romance, but they never go. Apparently there was a sex scene that was either cut or never filmed.
Because, I mean, he's on the time. Why would you put it in? Like,
yeah, it was apparently when
I have to save me daughter, but I have 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was when they were flying to the island or something, which I suppose takes 2 hours or something like that. But it was like, well, who's flying the plane? It was not, the film does not need it, but he looks at her, and that's what makes him turn to Kirby and go, no chance. All right. And I do like the final song that ends it, which has the tagline in it. It goes, somewhere, somehow, someone, because the tagline somewhere, somehow, someone's going to pay. Ooh, nice.
So I mean, it pretty much ends there.
Yeah, it's a 90-minute wonder, as you would say.
No, it is. Look, it's pure fucking entertainment. Like, I mean, there's I would argue that there's better action films if you're more into story and things making a little bit more sense.
Funny enough, the famous action scene in it, the big one at the end, is the weakest action scene. I think.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's a lot. It's all just shoot. There's not a lot else going on.
I'd rip on Rambo too, but that is more of an involved. Like it maybe speaks to how much time they had or didn't have. Like, it's just very meat and potatoes, and like he walks around and shoots and the guys fall over and they're on ramps and all that.
I mean at the end of the day, this is kind of a precursor to the dad action hero. Do you know what I mean?
True,
and not only that, it cemented Arnie as the one-man war machine. Like, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In his own right, because I mean, obviously you have Rambo as well on the other hand, but like in his own right, Commando was like, oh well, he can do it all on his own. Like, do you know what I mean? He doesn't need a team.
Well, it's interesting to compare it to Taken, where the first 20 minutes of Taken is how emasculated this guy is, and then this reawakens him. In this, it's just like they
kind of hint at it, but he's enjoying it rather than
it's kind of hard to say. Like, he is clearly like still at the top of his game, and like life is good. Whereas in Taken, it's brilliant in its way. Like, it's like, oh, this is reawakens the spirit in him, you know.
Even films like John Wick, like he's a dog dad, but it's still that type of archetype, that dad action hero former.
Yeah. Well, there's something like Taken has a more kind of real world, which is ludicrous to say, but it does have that veneer of the real world. And like,
it's definitely
this man out who's not allowed to be his full self. You know, he actually, in that you get the impression like he didn't give it up because he was tired of it. He just was like, this is just my life, you know. Whereas in John Wick and this, it's more like, as you say, they're just the retired gunslinger for one last job, and I just want to live in peace. And which in this film sounds ludicrous because it's Arnie and he's still fucking so jacked and all this. But I just, as I say, that first time I saw it really sums it up, and then I obviously rewatched it for this, but seeing it in the cinema, it was this year, I want to say. I was like, I still got it, this film. Like, there's just something magic about that sense of humor, and Arnie in particular. Like, just, if I overlook some of his character flaws, it's because the man just means so much to me. Like this and The Running Man, when I was 10, just again. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, he's so funny. Oh, fucking brilliant.
So, non-submersible units.
I'll let you go first, Keith, because I'm always stealing the obvious one. So
I have two, and for different reasons. So obviously, in our context of non-submersible units, it's memorable things that may not necessarily be good or bad. Yeah. So the first one is the opening fucking montage is fucking ridiculous, but I will never ever forget it. Like it's almost too much. That's famously, it's almost the Jesus lads moment. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Almost. That I can never honestly say is good. I think it's bad. Like, do you know what I mean? Genuine. Like, it's just. I mean,
I think if they took out the shot of the deer,
maybe, then add the music and change the music.
But do you remember actually the Ryan Gosling film Drive? During their montage of him getting to know the family, there is a scene where they're literally feeding deer, and that's a way more down to earth kind of. I don't know why. Sorry, I was just getting off topic, but that always bewildered me in that film, which I do like. But I was like, oh, that's a bit. It's kind of shorthand for like, isn't this a bit over the top? Like,
yeah. And then the second one I would say is a collective of one-liners. I think it's fucking gold. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just because it is almost parody. It's so over the top and absurd. The one-liners just kind of add fuel to that fire, but in a good way.
Yes,
they keep you on board rather than going, oh, this is just too much. Do you know what I mean? And it just, I mean, you just can't not remember some of these lines. Like, they're fucking brilliant.
The film's like winking along with you. Yeah, I won't add anymore. I will say, as much as I was kind of saying I didn't really like it, the big action scene at the end, I think people do remember that. Yeah. Like, there's something just about Arnie and that get up with all the different guns. And I'll throw one out to David Patrick Kelly. I think when I think of the film, I will never forget him, and he does so much with so little. Like, it is a nicely written character and all this, but he was just brilliant. Like, what a creep he is. And I suppose Ray Dawn Chong as well, though we're very nice about her. She does really. She's kind of
she gets a lot of fucking flack. Like,
I don't get that at all.
I don't get it at all. It has to be just fucking rage baiters on the fucking.
I don't know if anyone who finds her annoying, sound off why. I just think she fits in.
Are you a grifter?
Yeah. Are you a critical trigger? I will say, like, I find it, and she was compared to it on that podcast, the projection bill I mentioned, to Willie Scott in Temple of Doom. A character I do find annoying, because I think it's and that's Steven Spielberg's wife, so he'll never talk to me now. But I do find that character just like too much. Whereas this one, I'm like, she's just reacting like how you would, and I think she's very good. That's just legit how I feel about it. Yeah. So what can I say? Mark out of 5, Keith.
Mark out of 5. I know you love it. But I can't forgive some of the, and I know it was a rush job, I can't forgive some of the editing, and it really kind of just annoys me. So I'll go 3.
Oh, I can't. If you said 2, I'd have had something to say. As my father used to say, with my heart rather than my head, I'm giving it a 5.
Oh,
if it's me being. It's impossible for me to be critical of it. Yeah, like, even the stuff I don't like or that I just like it.
You just forgive it. Like.
I've just seen it so much. I can't say anything other than 5. If I suppose I would actually. No, I just like the one-liners too much. I'd probably give it a 4 if it wasn't a big. But it's a 5 for me. Like, the highs it goes to, and as I say, I think even to the end of the film, that bit which doesn't really jump out at you, but seeing it in the context of cinema, where he punches him into the electric fence and then he just comes back as if it was none. Seriously, the audience I saw with who would have seen it before did not recover from that for minutes afterwards, because it was such a fucking gem of a moment. An all-time classic, I think, is, for good or for ill, whatever you think of all the individual bits.
And on that bombshell.
On that bombshell.
So that's it for another week.
Another 90-minute wonder next week, if we want to tease the next one. So stay tuned, folks. There's plenty more where that. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff, yeah. Right, cheers. Thanks very much.